If you're dissatisfied with the dysfunctional American two-party system, you're in the right place. Welcome to Coffee with Art. A few minutes in the morning where I try to bring up things that hopefully will encourage discussion as opposed to the two-party arguments that are always going on, and there's no winners. It's trench warfare, and the two-party system in America has become totally dysfunctional. So let's have a discussion about how to change it. I wrote this book, Political Cocaine: How America Got Hooked on the Two-Party System and How to Intervene. You know, it really is a strange story, so I hope you'll choose to read about it, because there were no political parties at the start. Now, you'll hear defenders of the two major parties will say, oh yes, they've always been here. No, that's a lie. That's an out-and-out lie. But it's a justification that they have. However, I encourage you to look for yourself. Go through the Constitution. Read the whole thing. You will not find any provision for political parties. In fact, when I researched for this book, what I found out is, generally speaking, the colonists hated political parties. They felt they were evil. The authors that were selling at that time were very strongly against political parties, and these were the same authors that were selling like 85% of the books in the colonies. And when you consider it, that's the only media they had, was books and newspapers. And although the newspapers did align with certain political agendas, that is true. There was no political organization at all that was a political party. And in fact, the people who were trying their best to sell the Constitution in the Federalist Papers used pseudonyms. They did not want to risk any danger of their names being associated with something called a political party. So I agree with the colonists. I believe political parties in their nature are evil. And they take away from what the government itself should be. George Washington said in his farewell address, "You're substituting the will of the party for the will of the nation." And George said this at the end of his term. I need to make a little note here. For those of you who've been following me on Facebook, I really appreciate it. But this is the last week that I'm going to post to my personal page. I have another page on Facebook called Political Reform with Art Rude, and that's where I will be posting, as well as to YouTube, where I also call my new channel Political Reform with Art Rude. So I really hope that you will choose to subscribe to my channel. I don't think I have any yet, no views. It's a brand new channel. But YouTube has become so powerful and so many people watch it for so many things that I really do think that that's a much better avenue for me in the long run than Facebook, which tends to be only circulated among your friends. And so I don't want to be punishing my friends all the time. No, I really hope that conscientious Americans will choose to work towards reforming the system. And that starts with a discussion. And so that's what I'm trying to encourage with these little morning segments, Coffee with Art. So I hope you will consider reforming the system. The end game, number one, are three reforms that I am encouraging, besides the background of the really bizarre story of how political parties came to be. Because they weren't wanted, and there was no provision for them. Washington and Adams, the first two American presidents, both sternly warned against their formation. I'll talk about that in the next couple of coffee chats. And yet somehow they formed. Well, that's the story that I tell in Political Cocaine. And it's kind of a bizarre story because the people who were forming them didn't want them, but they didn't see any alternative. So that's the history of political parties in the country. And it's so ironic because the very first party organized for the election of 1800, which was the fourth presidential election, that's where things really started to go wrong. So we had the first 13 years at least with no political parties. And then the first one was called the Democratic Republican Party. Isn't that ironic? When today we have the Democrats, which I like to call the Demo-rats, and the Republicans, because they can't seem to do anything. And we've got trench warfare. And America has become the laughingstock of the world, how ineffective the American Congress can be. Let's start a discussion of how to change that. I hope you'll continue to tune in to Coffee with Art, and I'll do one every weekday morning, but this is the last time I'm going to be posting it on my personal page. So I hope that many of my friends will choose to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Political Reform with Art Root, and we'll hit another subject tomorrow. Hey, every day is a gift. That's why they call it the present. I hope you can unwrap your present today with someone wonderful. Have a great day.